Hey everybody, this is Chase Campbell, and in this video we're going to be learning how to make meat stock at home. So meat stock is almost kind of the opposite of bone broth. So bone broth is made out of 80% of actual just like bony bones, and then 20% meat, so there's a little bit of meat in there. And meat stock is actually made out of 80% meaty bones, so bones like drumstick, thighs, wings, a whole chicken, so bones that have a lot of meat around it. And then just 20% bones, which is just the bone inside. And the differences between that is that meat stock is a lot easier on the digestive system when trying to digest it. So for those who have gut issues specifically, should be eating meat stock or should add it into their daily foods or menu because it is very nutritious for the body. It is one of, if not the most easiest food for the body to digest. The reason behind that is because we've got the meat that we've cooked, alright, so which is very tender, very soft, it's not going to be hard. Then we got the non-fibrous vegetables that we're going to be putting in here, which are, once again, non-fibrous, so it's still going to give you some stamina, some nutrients from that. And then it's that broth. That broth is that's going to be so good for you, that's going to be making, which is going to be very easy for you to be able to drink and for it to be able to go through your digestive system. So just a little bit of thing on that. What's the difference between, I guess, what's the health benefits? Why does meat stock work better than bone broth? So bone broth, since it's cooked for a longer amount of time, it grows a bigger amount of amino acids, so it has more in it. And meat stock, we are actually going to cook it for a less amount of time than bone broth. And so by doing so, it's going to have a smaller amount of amino acids in it. But you might wonder, but amino acids are good, shouldn't I get more? Yes. But it depends upon what amino acids you're getting, in all honesty. So bone broth, we can do it from 6 to 24 hours. We can cook for 6 to 24 hours for chicken, or 24 to 48 for beef and pork. And so with that, there's a specific amino acid called glutamic acid inside of it that they derive from the bones. And it can get really high. So the problem about that is that glutamic acid is one sodium off from monosodium glutamate, MSG, which a lot of people don't react well with. And so therefore, by drinking the broth to help heal the gut, it can have some problems because your body will still react to it. Bone broth, on the other hand, we only cook it, so chicken 1.5 to 3 hours. For beef and pork, it's going to be 4 to 6 hours. So since it's less, then we aren't going to get as high. And so it can pretty much go underneath the radar of the body and is still able to give all the nutrients that it needs to the body. So bone broth is amazing, but for those who really need it, meat stock is the #1 winner. Now, just in general population, this is such a good thing to have inside the diet. For your family, for your friends, for you personally, just because it is so nutrient dense and it is just so amazing. Alright? If you ever need to pick me up, this is where you come. This will really get you going, especially for a cold day when it's also just super easy. My teacher, Monica Corrado, called it a one-pot meal, and it really is. You can feed a family on this, and it's really easy to put together. So I highly recommend that you learn how to do this and add this to your repertoire. Alright? Sweetness. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to show you what we're going to need for this recipe, and then we're going to put it all together. So, here we go. So what you're going to need is you're going to need 2 carrots. You can get 2 big sized carrots, or you can get 3 just medium sized carrots, just those regular ones you see at the store. 1 large onion to be able to cut up. We are then going to need chicken, of course. So I have chicken drumsticks today. Once again, you can get wings, thighs, legs, even a whole chicken will do. Then a small handful of peppercorns, which I'll be showing you what it looks like later. And then you can mix up what herbs you want to put in. And I have rosemary and basil that I'm going to put inside of mine. Now you can put other herbs, whatever you would like. And you can also put other vegetables. Just make sure that any vegetable you put in here is non-fibrous. Okay? Because fiber is hard on the gut. And we want this to be a very nurturing, gut-healthy meal. So we're going to make sure that we don't put that in there. Right? So any non-fibrous. So that could be like squashes, that could be like zucchini, that could be broccoli, things like that. Okay? So you can mix it up quite a bit. It's really nice. Then you're going to need a 3 to 4 quart, either a Dutch oven or a pan that you can have on the stove. Alright, or a pan that you can put in the oven, because you can also do an oven method. Or, last one is you can also do a 3 to 4 quart crock pot, actually. And so you can actually do this in a crock pot and make it work for you. So a lot of people like that preference. If that's you, then I will be going over that a little bit later about how to do that. Alright? And then we have the water, because we're going to need that to be able to make our broth. So let's get started. Show you how to kind of cut these up and chop these up and what that's going to look like. And then we'll start putting everything in. So for your carrots and vegetables, you want to make sure that you have them in a pretty good size, like bite-sized pieces. So just like with this one, you'll cut off the top. And you can actually save this for bone broth later, for when you're making some. Okay, so go and save those to the side. I like to do that. And then we are going to just chop those up into bite-sized pieces to be able to throw in here. Alright, so now we got those. Now we're going to do the onion. Now you don't have to chop up this onion fine. We're actually going to quarter this onion. So we're going to go one like that, one like that, okay? And then if you wanted to, you could cut it one more time just to make these a little bit smaller. So just like that. So now we have these nice pieces that we can enjoy, just like that. Okay? It should be delicious. Oh, lost an onion. Alright, and that's how you're going to cut it up. Let's start putting things inside this pot. Okay, I'm going to take my lid off. I'm going to start with the chicken because we want to make sure that we have enough room for the chicken to get in here. It's one of the most important parts of this, if not the most important part of this. Okay. Pull this back. There we go. I'm going to let it fall in. There we go. So I don't have to get my hands very dirty. Hello! So now I've got my 2 to 3 pounds of chicken in here. And just spread them apart real quick. I know, I said I wasn't going to get my hands dirty, but I did. Alright, rinse them real quick. And now we're going to put our vegetables in. So just separate the onions, little by little, just like that, into it. Alright. Perfect. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to talk a little bit. So for the different methods that we can use for cooking this is, like I said before, we have, so we could do it on the stove with this kind of pan, or any other pan. If you have a stainless steel or other pan, I don't recommend anything with like Teflon or non-stick or anything like that. So stainless steel or Dutch oven. This is a ceramic Dutch oven or ceramic cast iron. I highly recommend those. Or if you have the nice 1810 titanium, that'd be awesome. So we do it on here on the stove. All right. You bring it up to a boil and then you reduce it to a simmer, and then you'll let it cook for the 1.5 to 3 hours for chicken, or 4 to 6 hours for beef. The next method, which I'm actually going to show you today, is actually the oven method. So you're going to heat your oven up to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And then when you have everything put together, you're then going to take it and you're going to put it inside the oven, and you are going to bake it for, once again, 1.5 to 3 hours for chicken, or 4 to 6 hours for beef. The last method that I was talking that a lot of people really favor, especially for those who work a lot and have busy schedules, is the crock pot method. So the crock pot method is you do the exact same thing that I'm doing right here, but just put it inside a crock pot, and then you are going to turn it on. When you go to cook, you're going to turn it on high for 1 hour, and then you are going to turn it on low for 6 hours. You're going to let it cook. And once those 6 hours is up, then you're done. And it can be really nice for people because they can just go to sleep and wake up in the morning and it's done, or they can go to work and come back, or go do things for people who have busy lives. So crock pot method is definitely something people love, and I can understand it. Alright, got all onions done. We're going to throw these in. Got our carrots. Oh. Alright, and then, so here is going to be that point that I told you about. I'm going to show you how much peppercorn. Now you can grind this up if you want to just do pepper, but the unground peppercorns are also very much recommended. Okay, so, and you can take them out at the very end. So if you don't want them in here, don't have them. Sorry, scratch that. If you don't want them inside your soup, inside your meat stock at the end, then go and just skim them out. Don't listen to me when I said don't have them, okay? I'm so sorry. So what we want is a small handful. What I mean by that is just a little bit like that. If you can see, you just got a little bit right there. Okay, not too big. I'm just going to sprinkle those on top. And that's it. That's all you're going to need. Alright? And then, I got my basil. So I'm going to do a teaspoon of my herbs. Okay, so I'm going to put some basil in there. Ooh. Back off a little bit, because I already threw some in. So there we go, basil. And then I'm also going to add in a teaspoon of the rosemary, because I love rosemary. Rosemary and chicken, basil and chicken, it's delicious, and I just have enough. That's perfect. Alright, put that on. And now it's time for our water, which this is so important, okay? So important. Make sure that you pay attention right here, okay? Okay, so now I'm going to start pouring, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. So this is a gallon of water, okay? So I'm pouring it in. I know I'm not measuring. I know. People can get mad at me. So, as you can see, I'm not halfway down yet. So I haven't put in 2 quarts yet, but it's already getting up there at the water level. Another gauge that you can use for this is that you can actually gauge it by how much water above the meat that we're going to be putting this. Because the vegetables float, so it's hard to gauge that, but it's above the meat that we're worried about, okay? So we are going to look for about right in between 1 inch and 2 inch is what we're looking for of water to go above. So I'm just going to pour a little bit more in. That looks perfect. That looks great. Okay? So you can gauge it with your finger if you want, whichever works. But the reason for that is we don't want too much water in here. The reason we don't want too much water in here because if we have too much water, it's not going to gel. And we want it to gel. We want that good gelatin. Alright? Too much water is going to be watery, it's not going to gel up, and it's not going to actually have all that great of a taste, okay? So we want less water. If we're going to err on something, err on less water than more water at the end of the day, alright? Perfect. Please get that down. Or you can measure out the 2 quarts or 2 to 3 quarts. It's going to be a little bit under, the water's going to be a little bit under the weight that you put in there. So if I put 2.5, I probably put like 2 1/4 of water. Okay? But I do this method of just kind of gauging how much above to be able to double check and make sure that I'm going to be safe. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to put the top on and I'm going to throw it in the oven and I'm going to get her started. So I have it at 300 degrees. It's ready to go. I'm going to put it in. Boom. And now I'm going to let it sit in there for 1.5 to 3 hours. And it'll be done. It'll be all cooked up. It'll be beautiful. Alright, it's time, everybody. Our meat stock's done. So I'm going to pull it right out of the oven for us so we can look at it. Oh, look at that baby. Alright, move this. Voila! It's beautiful. So I'm going to try to show it to you as best I can since I can't really, like I can tip, I don't know if, do my best, I don't know if you can see very well. But the veggies are done, almost perfect, very tender, I'm going to say perfect, they're tender, they're very nice and juicy. And then you can also see right here, I'm going to get you some, you can see that broth, That looks divine. It's got that nice color. You can actually see the fat or the gelatin roaming around. So I can see those bubbles, that light little layer that you know is fat. Perfect. Exactly what we're looking for. And if it looks like it looks like it's going to gel up perfectly when I throw it in the fridge. So when you throw it in the fridge, if you're going to eat it now, go for it. But when you throw it in the fridge, once it cools down, then look at it, see what does it look like, and you'll see that's very gelatin, very jello. You're gonna like shake it, it's gonna be like wah, 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 the wiggly jello kind of kind of thing, you know. And that means you did awesome. You got the right amount of water. You nailed it on the timing. You did great. So awesome, congrats. And now what we'll do is you eat all of it. This is a meal. Unlike bone broth, which is a beverage, this is a meal that you will eat and you will enjoy, okay? So we're gonna eat all these carrots, we're gonna eat all of the onion, and as well the meat right here. What we can do is you can keep it in there, or we'll strip the meat off of it and actually put it inside of the stew, or we'll eat it separately with it. So we'll have meat on one side with the veggies, and then you'll just have a cup of broth to be able to drink it with as well. Alright? So you can do that. The last one is what you can do is we can actually strain out everything from the broth, or we can just pull the meat out, and then whatever kind of veggies, if you mix it up, whatever it may be, you can actually blend it up and make like a vegetable soup, whatever you want to call it, just with blended veggies in it, and then you have the meat on the side. Strip it, or just eat it off the bone, whatever you will. It's super easy, super simple, and so good for your body and for your gut. Once again, you, your family, and your friends will thank you for doing this. I can promise you that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you go and enjoy some more meat stock on your own. I'll talk to you later.